What is going on today, guys? Hope you guys are doing well. So this video was actually requested by, I believe his name was Rolling Stone. So if you guys have a video that you want me to do any specific topics about, please just put it in the comment section down below. I'd be happy to do a video about it. But he was wanting to know what the process of we call carting or getting carted is at the loading facility. And so what does that mean? So it's basically what we refer to, and we as fuel haulers refer to as carting is, or the cards is your access card to the rack. And by rack, I mean loading facility. That could be a refinery, that could be a tank farm, could be a pipeline that you're pulling fuel, even ethanol, gas, E85 or diesel, or any gasoline product or diesel product that you're pulling for whatever company, for whatever customer that you're going to. So as far as the process of getting your access card, or getting carded as we call it, for any of these facilities, I'm going to throw out a quick disclaimer here. What I am about to say may or may not be true in your area that you get hired in for fuel hauling, because the reality is every single loading rack or loading facility is going to be completely different. Some are really, really strict in, what you can do and how you can get carted there. Others are super, super easy. They're laid back. It's all across the board, and all of them have different policies. All of them have different timelines as far as when your access card expires, and then you have to get it renewed. So keep that in mind. And so what I'm about to say is only based on the loading racks that I go to, and that could be completely different anywhere else in the country. So with that being said, as far as the carting process goes, so when you get hired by a fuel hauling or gas hauling company for that matter, you will go with your trainer. Your trainer is generally somebody who already has access to whatever facility that they're trying to have you pull this load out of. You'll go in, there's some general paperwork you have to fill out, and then they will often require you to have at least 3 BOLs, or at least 3 separate times you came to that facility to get loaded before you can either test, and there's variations of testing, or before they'll give you access to that facility in your own specific card for that facility. If they require, like some places do out here, the Magellan pipeline places that we pull out of, they require a written test, and more often than not, a lot of it is common sense, but the other half of it is something to do with, okay, where are the fire extinguishers located? What does 3 green lights mean? What does a purple light mean? And again, these are going to be facility specific, and your trainer should be able to tell you a lot of this information, if not all of this information. And also at most of the places that require you to do a written test, once you have your 3 BOLs, or once you've loaded there 3 times, more often than not, they'll also give you a packet of information about, the policies and rules and regulations of that specific facility that the written test will be based on. So if you need to take notes, obviously read over it. But the more often that you go through there and the more you're familiar with it, the easier that test is going to be. So once you pass that written test, there may be an additional test to where they will have you, pull underneath the rack, or, the loading facility where you actually load the products, and they will watch you load a load of, diesel or gas or whatever you're trying to pull, to confirm, how to actually use the facility properly, what you're doing. Some places don't require that. Several places out here don't require that. They just require you to pass the written test, and at that point you're on your own. They'll give you a access card to the facility. From there, they'll give you the guidelines of, okay, your access card is good for 2 years, and after that you have to renew it, or it's good for 1 year. Or at some places like Suncor Refinery down here in Denver that I pull out of pretty frequently, it's good indefinitely so long as you pull at least one load every 90 days out of the facility to maintain your card status. Otherwise, if you don't, and you don't pull load there or a load from there at least once every 90 days, then they'll kick your card out. Then you have to go back in and start the whole process over again, depending upon how they do renewals there at that facility. And generally speaking, your company that you get hired on with is going to have you get carded at most, if not all, of the facilities that you need to get carded at, or they pull out of on a regular basis before they release you from training. So if you get caught up and you can't pass a written test or something like that, generally speaking, most companies will give you some grace on that. They'll let you try a few more times to make sure that you get that access card. But if for whatever reason, and again, they're not super hard, it's mainly common sense on a lot of the questions, and then just paying attention again to what you're doing and where things are located. But once you're familiar with and you've gotten access to all of the facilities that your company primarily pulls out of for wherever your customers are, then you'll be released from training, as long as you're also done with and you're familiar with the unloading process as well. And now for the most important part of the video. Make sure you keep access to whatever loading facilities that you have access to, because for two reasons. Number one, it's your job. The access card that you have for all these loading facilities, not just, one, but for all of them, it is literally your job. It is your job to be able to pull that product out of that facility. And if you break a rule and a facility member or, somebody who works there catches you breaking a rule, they can take your card away. They can do what's called a lockout, so you don't have access to the facility for, X number of days. That varies depending upon, what rule you broke. Or, some places are super strict, and depending upon what you do, they can remove your access forever, and you're no longer allowed to ever pull out of that facility. And I have heard of people getting fired for that if they lose access to certain facilities. I haven't seen it personally, but that's why, again, it's very important that you follow all of the rules of the facility. You never know when somebody is watching you, because the reality is I've had facility operators come up to me even a couple days ago. There was one at Suncor, and it was a couple nights before Christmas, or Christmas Eve or something like that. And he was checking somebody's work, or, he was checking somebody out that was in the bay next to me. And, it was whatever, 2 or 3 in the morning. So most people just expect that they're not going to be there. But it's very important why you always pay attention to all the rules. Realize that that access card is what allows you to be a fuel hauler or gas hauler or whatever. So just keep that in mind. With that being said, that's pretty much it. Again, it's going to vary depending upon where you are in the country. Some places are super laid back. Some places are super strict. Most are generally kind of in the middle. So just, take it slow. Pay attention to your training process. Ask for any specific tips or tricks from your trainer, and then you should be good. Most of this is super common sense. It's just paying attention. Paying attention is 90% of this job to what you're doing. That aside, if you guys have any other videos that you want me to do or talk about any other specific topics, please just let me know in the comment section down below. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care. God bless.